Many people dream of moving somewhere else in America, seeking affordable housing, quieter towns, or a fresh start. But here's the harsh truth most relocation experts won't tell you. Some places look amazing on paper. Beautiful scenery, lower priced houses, friendly communities, and yet once people actually move there, they discover a shrinking job markets, struggling healthcare systems, rising crime, and towns slowly losing population every year. And by the time they actually realize it, selling the house and leaving becomes a challenge. And hey, if you're new here, I'm Mark, and I help people plan relocations and buy and sell property in the U.S. and around the world. And I've personally helped over 500 families successfully relocate and buy homes with confidence. And in today's video, I want to walk you through 5 states in America you may want to think twice about before moving to in 2026. However, it is important to remember that you can't judge an entire state by a single standard. While these states as a whole may struggle with various challenges, there will always be resilient towns and specific communities that continue to survive and even thrive. Now, there are exceptions in every state, and starting with one place that looks beautiful on the surface, but it is quietly losing its broader workforce. So first in today's list is West Virginia. Now, West Virginia is one of the most scenic states in the country. The Appalachian Mountains, forests, small towns. It feels peaceful and untouched, but the biggest problem here is the economy. Now, for decades, the state relied heavily on coal mining, and that industry declined. Thousands of jobs disappeared, and many towns never fully recovered. And today, the job market remains limited outside of healthcare, education, and governmental roles. And many younger professionals end up leaving the state because career growth opportunities are simply better elsewhere. Now, that population decline is a serious issue. West Virginia has one of the fastest shrinking populations in the U.S., and many communities are aging rapidly. Now, when it comes to housing, this is where people get tempted. Homes are extremely affordable compared to the rest of the country. In many of the smaller towns, you'll see house prices between about $120,000 and $220,000. And in the mid-sized cities like Charleston or Morganton, typical homes often fall between roughly, I'd say, $200,000 and $350,000. And on the surface, that sounds like a great deal. But affordability alone doesn't solve the bigger issues of limited job growth, healthcare challenges, and infrastructure problems across rural parts of the state. And for many families, those factors eventually outweigh the low home prices. Now, let's move on to New Mexico. New Mexico is famous for the desert landscapes, incredible sunsets, Native American heritage, and a thriving arts culture. Cities like Albuquerque and Santa Fe attract visitors from all over the world, but living there long-term presents a different picture. One of the biggest concerns people face here is crime. Now, Albuquerque in particular has struggled with high rates of property crime, car theft, and violent crime compared to the national average. While some neighborhoods remain safe, safety varies dramatically depending on where you live. Now, another thing that they have a problem with is the economy. It tends to rely heavily on government jobs, tourism, and energy production. And that makes job stability less predictable when those industries fluctuate. Home prices here have climbed quickly in the recent years. In Albuquerque, many starter homes now sit around $280,000 to $420,000. And in Santa Fe, which is far more expensive due to tourism and second home buyers, homes often range from about $500,000 upwards to about $900,000 or more, depending on the location. And here's the challenge. Wages in many parts of New Mexico haven't kept up with those housing increases. The gap between income and home prices is one of the reasons many residents struggle financially despite relatively moderate property values compared to other states. Now, the next state surprises a lot of people, and that's New Jersey. Because when most people think of New Jersey, they imagine being close to New York City, great beaches, and a strong job opportunity market. And those things are absolutely real. But the financial pressure of living here is what pushes many residents out. New Jersey consistently ranks among the highest states in the country for property taxes. That means if you buy a home at a reasonable price, the yearly tax bill can become extremely expensive. And besides that, housing costs themselves are also high. In suburban areas within commuting distance of New York City, homes commonly range from about $450,000 to $750,000. And in more desirable coastal or commuter towns, it's not unusual to see prices climb above $900,000. And that's before adding some of the highest property taxes in America. And then you add traffic congestion, long commute, and dense urban development, and for many people, the lifestyle becomes more stressful than they expected. Next on our list is Mississippi. Now, Mississippi has deep cultural roots, beautiful southern landscapes, and incredibly warming communities, but it also faces some of the toughest economic challenges in the United States. The state consistently ranks near the bottom in median household income and overall economic growth. And many areas rely heavily on agriculture, manufacturing, and federal support programs. While those industries still provide jobs, wages tend to remain relatively low compared to national averages. And healthcare access is another challenge, especially in the rural regions where hospital closures have left residents traveling long distances for medical care. Housing here is among the cheapest in the country. In cities like Jackson or Gulfport, homes often fall between $150,000 and $280,000. In smaller towns and rural areas, it's still possible to find properties roughly between $90,000 and $180,000. But again, affordability doesn't fix deeper issues like job opportunities, healthcare availability, and education quality. And for the families thinking long-term, those factors matter a lot. Finally, let's talk about Minnesota. Now, Minnesota was once considered one of the strongest economic states in the Midwest. And in many ways, it still offers great natural beauty, lakes, parks, and strong cultural communities. But in recent years, several concerns have started pushing residents away. And one of the biggest complaints people mention is rising taxes combined with increased living costs. Also, Minnesota has some of the higher state income tax rates in the country, which affects both homeowners and businesses. Crime has also increased in certain areas, especially in the St. Paul and Minneapolis areas, leading to growing concerns about safety in parts of those cities. And housing prices have also risen significantly. In the Minneapolis-St. Paul metro, many homes now range between about $350,000 and $500,000. And in more desirable suburban areas, family homes often reach $500,000 to $700,000, depending on the neighborhood and school district. And in the extremely harsh winters, where temperatures can drop far below freezing for months, and many people eventually decide lifestyle simply isn't for them. Here's the thing, every state on this list has people who love living there. No place is perfect. But if you're planning a relocation in 2026, it's important to look beyond just the home prices or the scenic photos online. You want to think about the long-term picture. Job opportunities, healthcare access, crime rate, taxes, population trends, because those are the factors that truly shape your quality of life over the next 10 or 20 years. And if you're considering moving somewhere new, reach out to me for free one-on-one expert guidance. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe for more relocation insights. Because in the next video, I'll show you several states in America that are actually becoming a very hot market right now and why more families are moving there every year.